road to Florida in January. Tickets available at romplacone.com.
So everybody's talking about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She did a protest at Nancy Pelosi's office. Here, let me just go ahead and show you. I'll just flip ahead. Here she is at Nancy Pelosi's office doing a climate change protest.
I just want to let you all know how proud I am of each and every single one of you for putting yourselves and your bodies and everything on the line to make sure that we save our planet, our generation, and our future. It's so incredibly important. I've shared with you all, and I've shared my story that my journey here started at Standing Rock, and it started with everyday people doing exactly what you all were doing too. You know what? One of the things that I admire so much about Leader Pelosi is that she comes from a space of activism and organizing, and so I think that she really appreciates civic engagement. And really, what I'm here to do is just to support the folks who are here. This is an encouragement.
Okay, so that was inside Nancy Pelosi's office. That was some. Who is that? Now, what is all this about? So the Justice Democrats and a group called the Sunrise Movement.org, they put out this release. So, and you know, Ocasio-Cortez is a Justice Democrat. And here it is. Pelosi and Democratic Party leadership, Democrats have the House. Now we demand a real climate plan. Now, even though Nancy Pelosi, from what I can tell, is better on climate change than you would think. She actually didn't take any fossil fuel money for the last couple of years, and she actually started the climate science panel in 2007. I don't know if that's the correct name. We're going to get to it, but they want to make sure, because what the Democrats seem like they really don't have an agenda on climate change coming in, and this group wanted to make sure they did. And so here's what that they said. They put out this press release. Here's what it says. We have 12 years to transform our economy and society to stop climate change. That's according to the IPCC report that got everybody's hair on fire, rightly so, I think. Democrats must put forward a plan to protect our planet, our communities, and our economy. Nancy Pelosi and Democratic leaders in Congress have the power to create one. But recent developments show the Democratic Party leadership has no intention of fighting for a real climate plan in the new Congress. With the UN's recent climate report, the Democratic Party leadership's position is tantamount to climate denial. Wow, that's pretty strong stuff. The science is undisputed. We have the technology, and the public is overwhelmingly on the side of bold action on climate and jobs, which they are. You know, 78% of people want their government to transition to a green economy. Did you know that? That's from Top Line Polls. That's true. The only thing standing in the way of a livable future is the failure of political leadership. This is what they're saying. Add your voice to ours. Tell Nancy Pelosi and the Democratic leadership to, 1, champion a Green New Deal that would create millions of good jobs to transform society over the next decade to stop climate change. This means creating a committee tasked specifically to write policy on creating jobs and moving our country off fossil fuel over the designated 12 years that the IPCC has given us. Let's protect the lives of all working people, black, brown, and white, from the ravages of disaster and pollution. So they're calling for real, concrete plans. They're not just saying, "Hey, let's be against it. Let's try to work for climate." When the Democrats, if they're able to take over in 2020, let's hit the ground running, because we only have 10 years left at that point. So that's what they're making sure that the solutions that the Democrats propose are proportionate to the size of the problems. That's what they're trying to do. And the number 2 thing they want is a mandate that any Democrat in leadership must take no fossil fuel money pledge and reject campaign contributions from fossil fuel executives and lobbyists and prioritize the health of people and planet over industry profits. So those are the two. I would say mandate that all Democrats take no fossil fuel money, but they just saying Democrats in leadership positions. Why not all Democrats? Why, again, if you're going to be bold and you're going to sit in someone's office, why do a half measure like that? Anyway, that's just me being nitpicky. Oil and gas executives profit off a business model that's incompatible with the future of human civilization. It's time for the Democratic Party to reject their influence wholesale. Well, now, you know, the Democratic Party did pass a resolution earlier this year in 2018 that said they wouldn't take any fossil fuel money. And then secretly, they reversed that rule, and now they can take fossil fuel money. In 12 years, it's too late for the planet. Democrats decided to start taking fossil fuel money. A rising generation of young people of all backgrounds just helped flip the House with a record turnout. We will no longer tolerate empty promises and words without action. That's what they're saying. We're not expecting miracles. We understand that the GOP is corrupted by dirty oil money and will stall us at every turn. We know that sweeping change isn't possible until Trump is gone, but we need to start laying the groundwork and put forward our vision for America now. Good idea. We're asking Democrats to step up to the fight alongside us, and if they are unwilling, they should step aside and make way for new leadership that will. So that was their proclamation, and they went to Nancy Pelosi's office, and then you saw, I showed you Ocasio-Cortez went there. She joined them. Let me get to, there's a little bit, so she tweeted this out. So Nancy Pelosi started a select committee on climate change in 2007, and she said she's going to reinstate it, Nancy Pelosi, so that's good.
Mm-hmm.
So Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez says, reinstating the select committee is a great decision that I fully support. These dynamic leaders want to ensure that the committee has a mandate to draft a Green New Deal for 100% renewable energy and no appointed members that accept funding from the fossil fuel industry. So that's what they're asking. Also, 100% of national power generation from renewable sources. This is their list of things. Number 2, building a national energy efficient smart grid. Number 3, upgrading every residential and industrial building for state-of-the-art energy efficiency, comfort, and safety. 4, decarbonizing the manufacturing, agriculture, and other industries. It's a tall order. 5, decarbonizing, repairing, and improving transportation and other infrastructure. Another tall order. Funding, but these are good. You're supposed to do this. You're supposed to have tall orders. Funding massive investment in the drawdown and capture of greenhouse gases. Making green technology, industry expertise, products, and services a major export of the United States, with the aim of becoming the undisputed international leader in helping other countries transition to completely carbon neutral economies and bringing about a global Green New Deal. Imagine if they actually did all that and we actually could stop climate change. Wouldn't that be amazing? We did it. Wouldn't that be amazing? Wouldn't that be amazing? And by the way, how do you pay for it? She says, then she shows how Congress voted overwhelmingly for this crazy military budget. But here's the thing. Here's the thing I think about this. Everybody's making a big deal about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez joining that protest inside Nancy Pelosi's office. Look, she's sticking it to the leadership. Because Kyle Kalinske told me about that when we had our conversation last night over Skype. And I did one of these, really. I did one of those. And turns out she did. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez did join it, which is great. Again, this is all exactly what Democrats should be doing. That's exactly what I was hoping Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez would do when she got in to office. This is great. This is great. The only thing I will say is that Nancy Pelosi tweeted this out. She said, deeply inspired by the young activists and advocates leading the way on confronting climate change, the climate crisis threatens the futures of communities nationwide, and I strongly support reinstating the Select Committee to address the crisis. So they wanted her to go. So, by the way, Nancy, and then Alexandria Ocasio says, thank you, Nancy Pelosi. We have 10 years left to plan and implement a Green New Deal before cataclysmic climate disaster. Reinstating the Select Committee is exactly what we need to do. So, to me, just I'll throw it over to my panel. To me, it looks like this is good. This is great that Alexandria is doing this, that the Justice Democrats are doing that Sunrise.org is doing this. I'm glad this is all happening, and we need more of this. It seems like Pelosi was cool with it, even though they did end up arresting people at this. But a lot of times you show up because you want to get arrested, right? So people did get arrested at this, from what I read, and but it seems like this wasn't really her bucking the leadership of Nancy Pelosi. Am I being nitpicky? What are you thinking? Am I being nitpicky to the panel?
I'll take the optimistic road, and I'll say I think AOC put her in a corner, and I think it was right on. I mean, first of all, everyone's saying this like that was her orientation, and she attended a protest. I think not only should protest attendance be part of a congressional orientation, I think it should be mandatory. I think that's the best way to spend an orientation a congressperson has ever spent one. So I applaud her for that. And I think, yeah, you show up with all these people that are concerned about the climate, which affects everybody, regardless of which your political leanings are. And she backed her in the corner. How do you not want to do something about this? So I think it was a good move politically. She had the people behind her, and I hope it's the start of a better trend. Again, like I said, Nancy Pelosi seems to be of like minds of people who are, environmentalists, except she hasn't. They're what they want her to actually have a bold plan, and so that's what's happening. And they are forcing her hand to have a bold plan. I think I'll go with your reading of the situation, and this is good. And that Nancy Pelosi can't flip off Ocasio. She can't go, wow, these meddling kids, right? She has to be on board, and so that's good. This is good.
I can't imagine a better program right now than a Green New Deal to be implemented. And also, can you imagine what kind of jobs program that this would be at the same time? How is everybody in the Democratic Party not cheering on this?
Right? Because they have donors. But it's funny, they go a little farther, actually. I was reading in Vox, there's more to this resolution than just what I've told you already. Also, the resolution is equally ambitious on the subject of equity. It says that the Green New Deal is, quote, is a historic opportunity to virtually eliminate poverty. Wow. Talk about thinking big. That this Green New Deal is a historic opportunity to virtually eliminate poverty in the United States and to make prosperity, wealth, and economic security available to everyone participating in the transformation. That's something to vote for.
I need to know a little bit more.
That's her. Well, there is a little bit more. To that end, it instructs the committee to develop a plan that would include a job guarantee, measures to combat income inequality and racial injustice, and maybe a universal basic income for good measure. Wow. This is about much more than carbon. It doesn't separate out the climate problem from society's other ills, as climate wonks have so often advocated. It sees environmental, economic, and social problems as intertwined.
Bingo.
With a common set of solutions. It's a full spectrum vision of sustainable social democracy, a level of progressive ambition that most U.S. citizens have likely never encountered. You mean the left has a bold vision, not just rhetoric, not just saying hope and change, but actually having a concrete plan for change? This is great.
Okay, isn't the reason why we got all the freeways and the highways was because FDR decided that a part of the military budget to protect the country was to build these roads, correct? Right?
I think that was Eisenhower. Was that Eisenhower? Who built the interstate highway system? I think it was Eisenhower or Truman.
So a part of the military budget went towards those building those highways. That was,
It was
for
sold-
protection.
It was sold.
Purposes.
Yes, that was sold as a defense project.
Yes.
To move missiles around, and so we could fight the menace of the Reds, right, of Russia. So that was an easier sell. So it was definitely sold that way. Whether that money came right out of the defense budget, I'm not sure. Maybe it did.
I think also my point is ultimately anything that we do to improve our country improves the wellness of the people. So I like seeing that they're saying that this is connected to societal problems as well that could be, improved upon.
I agree with you, Steph.
It gives me hope, but I have to say right now, I still don't have universal health care. I still don't, I don't have Medicare for all. How long will it take something like this when we're up against, a really catastrophic problem?
Well, look what it takes. So, like I've said, 8 out of 10 or 9 out of 10 Democrats, if you round up, 9 out of 10 Democrats want Medicare for all.
Yes.
And a majority of Republicans want Medicare for all, yet we still can't even get our Democratic leaders to say it. We can't get Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi to say it, even though everyone's for it in the country. So here's another deal where everyone's for it, and the 78% of people, according to a top-line poll, are for the government shifting us to a green economy.
So maybe trips to Nancy Pelosi's office needs to be a weekly thing. Every week, show up with your people right behind you. These are the people I'm answering to because this is my gig now, and I'm here, and I ain't going anywhere. So how about Medicare for all, Nancy? What do you say?
Well,
Put her in a corner again.
Yeah,
I also think Barbara Lee will be on board for this.
Well,
and that's the person that we're really rooting for is Barbara Lee.
Yes, we are. Yeah, we're hoping for Barbara Lee to become the leader of the House.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. We'll see if she can, it's the Republicans get to vote in that election too, right? So if the Democrats are split, you're going to need Republican votes to put you over. It's going to be interesting to see who becomes. I hope it's interesting. I hope it's interesting.
Well, Jimmy, you had a conversation with Kyle, and I one thing that I took away, a couple things, but the one thing that I loved was that he said, if you care, call your representative up and let them know you want Barbara Lee.
Right.
And if they don't support Barbara Lee, that you will not be supporting them.
Yes. There's so yeah. That's all you can do, I guess.
But I like that. I like that strategy. I like that he was saying, call them, email them, get after them to make sure that they recognize that we want Barbara Lee because we don't want another,
So
great.
why
Pelosi raises all this money.
Why only Ocasio showed up? Why didn't Ro Khanna?
Yes.
Why? Where's all the rest of the Justice Democrats? Right? There's seven of them now. Right?
Maybe they already went through the training.
I guess they chose to do other things for their orientation.
Maybe.
I don't know. I mean, it was orientation time.
I guess so. But anyway, that's great. This is the kind of stuff. The Justice Democrats, our revolution, they should be doing big things like this. Solutions that are proportionate to our problems.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because you mentioned it's a tall order, and it's like, yeah, it's gotta be.
Gotta be.
Because we're behind schedule.
Yes.
Like they're like we can still do something, but we're really, really behind schedule.
Okay, so the official line is that Ocasio-Cortez put Pelosi in a corner. And now Pelosi's got to come out for this. I did like how she said, I'm sure Nancy Pelosi appreciates this because she has a long history of, whatever,
Activist background.
Background. It was like, yes, she was trying to can't be against this. So that was great. So we're going thumbs up. Great. More of this. Our next live Jimmy Dore show is February 1st in Burbank, California. Go to jimmydorecomedy.com for a list of all our live shows, and please become a premium member if you can. Become a patron. It's the way we support this show because they're coming at us, and we give you bonus. We give you hours of bonus material every week. Check it out. Become a patron. And if you can, make sure you're still subscribed. They unsubscribe people every day. I know it sounds crazy. It only takes a second. Please make sure and click that bell when you subscribe so they'll send you a notice when we drop.